Welcome, you're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. When the world's biggest superpower wants to pitch its product, it doesn't just send a corporate sales executive. It sends its top diplomat. And sometimes that diplomat ends up reading from two entirely different scripts at the exact same time. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio is embarking on his high-profile maiden tour to India, with stops scheduled across Kolkata, Jaipur, Agra and New Delhi. Ahead of his arrival, Rubio was asked about Washington's objectives. His response was remarkably candid, stripped of all standard diplomatic fluff. He said, and I'm quoting here, "We want to sell them as much energy as they can buy." Now this is a direct commercial pitch wrapped up in a strategic embrace. Rubio showered praise on New Delhi, calling India a great ally and a frontline partner. But beneath the warm rhetoric lies a massive American push to dominate India's energy portfolio. However, if what Rubio is saying, it has sent shockwaves through diplomatic corridors, and it's not this announcement. In a highly unusual breach of protocol, the US Secretary of State didn't just announce his own travel itinerary. He also announced the travel schedule of a completely different foreign leader. Rubio revealed that Venezuela's newly installed interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, is also flying to India next week, specifically for oil discussions. Now, third countries generally avoid revealing such high-level foreign visits before the host country or the visiting nation makes an official announcement. Here as well, New Delhi hasn't said a word, and Caracas hasn't said a word either. But Rubio did. Why? Because it serves as a very stark reminder of the new geopolitical reality. Following the deposition of Nicolas Maduro in January, Washington is effectively operating as the administrative spokesperson and travel agent for Caracas. By linking American energy exports directly to Venezuelan crude, Rubio accidentally exposed just how tightly the US controls the Venezuelan oil flow. So why is this a frantic energy diplomacy happening right now? Well, look at the global map. The ongoing US-Israel conflict with Iran has effectively choked off the Strait of Hormuz, the vital maritime artery that carries 20% of the world's fuel supplies. For an exponentially growing economy like India, which imports nearly 80% of its crude requirements, this closure is an economic emergency. Washington smells a massive strategic opportunity here. The US is currently sitting on historic, record-shattering levels of domestic oil production and also shale exports. By offering a combination of American energy and US-supervised Venezuelan oil, Washington is trying to solve two problems at once: buffer India from Middle Eastern supply shock, while systematically squeezing out Russia and Iran from New Delhi's balance sheet. But if Washington thinks that India will blindly sign on the dotted line, it has fundamentally misread New Delhi's playbook. Rubio's visit will culminate in a critical Quad foreign ministers meeting on May 26th with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and India's stance on this energy hard shell is already crystal clear. The government sources have quietly reminded everyone that India's energy procurement remains fiercely independent. New Delhi is perfectly open to exploring Venezuelan crude or American shale, but it will be governed strictly by market economics and national interest, and not external policy waivers or geopolitical pressure from Washington. Now, in this high-stakes theater of global energy, Marco Rubio is arriving with a highly lucrative pipeline. But India is keeping its eyes firmly on the price tag and its strategic autonomy. Now, while the US is also trying to lock India into a new grid of fossil fuel dependence, New Delhi is already looking in a completely different direction. Just ahead of his high-level meet of Marco Rubio, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a marathon 4-hour meeting with the Council of Ministers. Faced with rising domestic fuel prices and volatile blockade in the Gulf, the Prime Minister delivered an urgent directive to his cabinet. He told them to aggressively pivot away from conventional imported fuels and focus heavily on scaling up domestic alternative energy sources. So we are looking for solutions in biogas or LPG to substitute LPG. Now the internal mandate is clear. India's ultimate safety net isn't a different oil supplier. It is self-reliance through green energy diversification. That's it from this segment, but stay tuned for more news.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.